Supercross season is off to an exciting start. Powerful, talented, relentless riders combined with rugged, sturdy, well-made machines to provide some of the best racing in the history of the sport. Anticipation is high as James Stewart, Ricky Carmichael, and Chad Reed are all vying for the top spot coming into Angel Stadium in Anaheim, next on CBS. The Amped Mobile World Supercross GP and the Amped Mobile AMA Supercross Series returns to Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California for their second visit of 2006 to the birthplace of Supercross, Southern California. This huge, enthusiastic crowd is ready for another action-packed round of bar-to-bar competition with the high-flying superstars of Supercross. Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Shaheen alongside former Supercross Lights champion Denny Stevenson. At the last round of the series in Phoenix, Arizona just a week ago, Ricky Carmichael stopped James Stewart's win streak at 3. So Denny Stevenson, does that mean that the momentum has shifted to the Suzuki camp, or did James Stewart just see a bump on the road to maybe his first Supercross championship?
Well, there was no doubt, Ralph, that James Stewart was on a big roll. But his crash in the first turn in Phoenix opened up the door for Ricky Carmichael and Chad Reed when they placed first and second. Some say you're only as good as your last race. Tonight in Anaheim, Ricky Carmichael looks like the man to beat.
Well, let's take a look now at the Amped Mobile World Supercross GP point standings presented by Toyota. Now, there's been a total of 4 rounds of competition, 2 in Canada, 2 here in the States, and James Stewart leads Ricky Carmichael by 6 in those standings. Now let's show you the Amped Mobile AMA Supercross point standings presented by Toyota. This is just for the 2 rounds that have taken place so far here in the U.S., and there's a tie atop those standings with Ricky Carmichael and James Stewart each at 45, and Chad Reed just 1 more marker back. Here's a look at the road to tonight's main event. 4 riders each will come out of the 2 heat races to kick off the evening. We will also have 2 semis. 10 riders will transfer out of those 2 races, 5 from each. And then there's 1 last shot at getting into the main event. 2 riders coming out of the last chance qualifier for tonight's 20-lap, 20-rider main event. Denny, here's a nice shot from high above of tonight's racetrack. Show us some of the trickier positions.
Well, some of the sections, this track's a little bit easier than last weekend, but some of these guys are tripling right here, doubling, and tripling right in that corner. Some of the guys are just doubling it. The top guys are tripling. They're going to make up some fast time there tonight. And there's the whoop section. They get you both coming and going right before the finish line. As we saw at the Anaheim opener, these whoops can take you down big time.
Before we drop the gate on heat number 1, let's head downstairs to Chris Devoto with a Progressive pre-race report.
Well, guys, I am in one of those whoop sections, and we want to talk about what makes it a little easier. It's a little mellower, if you will, than when we were here 2 weeks ago. Notice where I sit. If you go back to the very first series, the first whoops in this series, it's a little lower, a little less steep, a little graduated. The riders say that makes it much easier to get through this section. They kind of use it like a launching pad, almost like a merge lane on the highway, if you will. So that's what makes it a little easier to get through. But what this track lacks in technicalities, it definitely makes up for in speed. 45-second lap times are the norm. Blink tonight, and you are definitely going to miss something.
That can be a really tricky section. And here's our Air Force start list for heat number 1 tonight. And Jeremy McGrath brings a new machine to the series.
Yeah, MC is bringing the 450 Honda. He's made the switch from the 250 2-stroke. Also in the seat race, David Bowman, he as well has moved up to the 450. I think the 250 is becoming outdated.
There's a good look at the man that everybody's been talking about. James Stewart won the first 3 rounds of the season. 2 in Canada, the first stop here in Anaheim. Then just last week, it was Ricky Carmichael that wins. But this rider, Chad Reed, has been right there on the heels of those 2 and just 1 spot out of a win last week in Phoenix.
He's had it. He's been out front. He's got to put together a full 20 laps. He's only made it to 10 so far. He's going to change it up, get through it tonight. Jeremy McGrath, in their hand, pulls the whole shot last weekend in Phoenix, leads for majority of the race, and ends up 4th. An awesome job for the legend.
And Jeremy will carry our helmet cam on his American Honda Motor Company entry, providing the helmet cam views for us tonight. In the heat races, there are 8 laps, 20 riders, 4 advancing straight to the main. The rest go to semis. Here we go. Stewart comes out of the first corner with the lead.
Ralph, Chad Reed right behind him. He's in the spot. These two guys want to be out front, 1-2, not having to deal with any traffic whatsoever.
There you go, on board with Jeremy McGrath. The crowd here in Anaheim, all on their feet.
Jeremy making that switch to the 450, was hoping to get a much better start. Things that didn't really work out. He's buried back in 6th right now with right behind David Bullman. But Ryan Clark, how about him on that solitaire Honda, Ralph? Ryan being a privateer guy, he's been around for a long time. Up front, we're mixing up with the factory guys.
But Ernesto Fonseca, one of the factory Honda riders, number 10, takes the position away and moves up to the 3rd. And here comes McGrath on the number 2 Honda. Jeremy sits in 5th, and you ride with him. Here comes the triple. And McGrath, flying through the air, almost takes over the position.
McGrath laid down some fast lap times in practice. He was the 5th fastest coming into tonight. Ernesto was the 4th fastest, so you got these guys already up front. Jeremy needs to make quick work here of Ryan Clark if he has any hopes of catching up to Fonseca.
Great battle for the lead up front. James Stewart on the green Kawasaki. Chad Reed on the factory Yamaha giving chase, the Australian, trying to run this young superstar down.
Now, we talked to James Stewart this morning. I asked him, did you go home mad? Were you angry that you got 3rd? He smiled and just said, you know what? I went home. I just worked a little bit harder. I'm going to avoid crashing. This weekend, I'm going to take it and bring back some more momentum.
Stewart leads Reed, Fonseca, McGrath, and Villeman as we've only completed 2 of the 8 laps in Heat 1. Stewart flying through the rhythm section here in Anaheim continues to lead in Heat number 1. The Amp Mobile Supercross Tour coming back to the birthplace of Supercross here in Southern California. Stewart has caught the back of the field and is starting to lap his way through the pack.
Reed staying close, but he's losing a little bit of time each lap. He's now down 2.8 seconds, Ralph. Reed kind of rose with momentum and confidence. This could wear on him a little bit. He started out right behind Stewart. He's already dropped down about 3 seconds in only 6 laps. It'll be interesting to see what Reed does between his heat race and his main event. He goes back, watches the videotape, and finds out where he's losing that time.
There's Reed, number 22 on the blue Yamaha. And I think the thing, Denny, is, as he mentioned to us, is the fact that he knew that the problems he had in Canada were himself, not the Yamaha motorcycle. So it seems to be more of a mental thing for Chad Reed this season.
Yeah, and that's what we said also when that main events last weekend. He's shown the speed, he's been out front, and just a mental mistake, he said, has cost him with the victory. This week, he's hoping to eliminate those, and he needs to go back to the truck and find out and find another extra half second or so that Stewart has put it on him.
James Stewart, just so smooth. The way he throws that big 450 around. In the world of motocross and supercross, the 450 considered a huge bike, but James Reed makes it look like a toy the way he throws that big, heavy motorcycle around.
Yeah, Stewart, this is a much faster track. In other words, they're saying it was almost easy, but it shows that there's a lot of corner speed. The place to make up ground is in the corners, and James Stewart is a man when it comes to corner speed. He is so fast, so smooth, and so flawless, but that's where I think he's making up his ground. Majority is in the corners.
Checkered flag. Stewart and Reed are going straight on. Jeremy with a transfer position. Here comes McGrath. His first heat on the big 450. And you sky with him across the finish line as he will join Ernesto Fonseca, Reed, and Stewart straight on to tonight's main event. So James Stewart, looking to get the momentum back, begins by winning the heat race here, heat number 1 in Anaheim. Let's head down to Chris Devoto, who's with James Stewart.
Well, James Stewart certainly made that look easy. Tell us about the key to that race.
Just got a pretty decent start. Tracks is I don't know what's going on with the tracks lately. They're making them so easy, and it's just making it for good racing. So, you know, it's not technical tonight, so, you know, just need to go out there and ride smart, go 20 laps, and hopefully come out on top.
He won when we were here 2 weeks ago, picking up where he left off in Anaheim.
And here's the lineup for heat number 2, and this is where we'll see the factory Suzukis. In fact, Ricky Carmichael and Ivan Tedesco in our starting lineup, presented by Thor for heat number 2. And Denny, we heard James Stewart talk about the fact that this wasn't a very technical track tonight as Ricky Carmichael gets set. What's the difference between what we're seeing tonight and the last time we were here in Anaheim as far as it not being as technical?
Well, you see the jumps are very spread out quite a bit this weekend. There's not quite as many different rhythm sections. The jumps are a lot rounder. It's a safer track, but in turn it's easier as well. The whoop-de-doos are not nearly as big as they were at the Anaheim opener. They're a little a little bit more forgiving than they were. Overall, it's a safer track, which you want, but you also want the guys to be a little bit more challenged, I believe.
Well, James might not have liked it so much, but however, as you take a look at what we have here once again, another 8-lap heat with 4 going straight to the main. It wasn't as technical in Phoenix, and that presented some great racing. Here we go. Carmichael trying to come up the inside. He'll take the lead with Tedesco, his teammate, right behind him, who got the whole shot. Mike LaRocco on the Honda number 5, holds on to 3rd.
That was a smart move by Carmichael. He didn't go in the first turn where he felt he could go wide with the lead and try and get the lead. He dove the inside, hugged the tough blocks, come out next to his teammate, made a quick pass, and he's out front. This shows a smart move and smart riding on Carmichael's part.
Tough blocks are those multicolored barriers that line the outside of the racetrack and the inside. As we watch Carmichael over the finish line jump.
Talking about the opener about you're only as good as your last race. Obviously, Ricky Carmichael took that big win. He's going to want to come into this race, or he's already come into this race with a lot of confidence. The momentum is on his side. Now he's out front trying to pull away, lay down some fast lap times. On the other hand, Mike LaRocco and Michael Byrne. LaRocco had a big weekend here in Anaheim last time we were with you guys. He did a wonderful job, ran 4th all night long. Michael Byrne, on the other hand, he had some injuries. He came in last weekend with a broken foot, or a sore foot at least, and I think it kind of hurt him a little bit. This weekend he looks a lot more solid as he makes a move on LaRocco and sets a sight on Tedesco in 2nd.
Michael Byrne on the Kawasaki with LaRocco right behind him. Byrne doing a good job holding on to 3rd. LaRocco with that final transfer position. Coming up a little later today on CBS. It's the NFL Today right after us, and they'll get you set for today's big AFC Championship game between the Steelers and the Broncos. Great day of sports here on CBS Sports with Ricky Carmichael leading here in heat number 2. Stay with us.
I want to ride. I want to ride. I want to ride. I want to ride. I want to ride.
I know. Let's go.
The full line of fun and reliable CRFs from Honda. Everyone wants to ride.
Tonight's main event, Carmichael, Tedesco, Byrne, and LaRocco, all with tickets right now, straight to the main event. The first rider out of a position right now for straight transfer is Jeff Gibson, who sits back in 5th place on the number 48 machine.
Carmichael, that 24-year-old rider from Havana, Florida, he's been just a dominant rider in our sport, just kicking everybody's butt these last few years. This season, though, looks like Stewart and Reed might have something for him, as these guys are only separated by 1 point coming in tonight.
Well, to show you how fast Carmichael's riding right now, he was up to 9 seconds between him and Tedesco. He's up that to 14.8. That's a huge gain of time in 1 lap.
That just shows what these guys are capable of. Ricky's making no mistakes right now. You make a mistake when you're racing this type of speed, you're going to lose a lot of time, and we saw that with Tedesco in that last lap.
So much of that momentum after that win in Phoenix going to Carmichael as he takes the win here. And that will do nothing but give him even more of a boost as we go to tonight's main event. Now, Mike LaRocco holds the final transfer spot. There he is on the number 5 Honda. LaRocco, one more trip through the whoops, coming back. Tedesco's already crossed the line, so is Byrne, and so does LaRocco. So those 4 riders will go straight to the main event here tonight in Anaheim. Let's take a look at the whole shot. And as you said, Denny, Carmichael played this just right.
Yeah, watch Carmichael, number 4 right there in the Suzuki. He kind of gets leaned on LaRocco, and watch him. He drops in, hits the brakes. Everybody else goes wide. He drops to the inside, scoots around there, and all of a sudden, boom, he's up in second place. A smart move by Carmichael.
And then over the finish line jump. Carmichael goes straight to the main, and he has let James Stewart and Chad Reed know, based on his lap times down in the 44-second range, Krista, that he's ready to go tonight.
Ready to go indeed. You know, these guys do not get a lot of practice time on these weekends. Ricky, was that a little bit like a practice in terms of finding something out that you can use in the main event?
No, it wasn't really practice. You know, we got the track dialed in, and I feel good. You know, my heat race was a little bit slower, but you know, I'm looking forward to getting out there. I didn't feel too good in my heat race last week, and I did good. Looking forward, man. I just want to get out of here without crashing in the main event. It should be all right.
All right, Ricky Carmichael, our winner tonight in their heat number 2, guys.
Well, this big crowd tonight in Anaheim has enjoyed some great heat race action. And, of course, a lot of that was provided by James Stewart. 7 Kawasaki rider has been thrilling fans quite a bit so far this season. When we come back to Anaheim, we'll take a look at James Stewart.
That's what I'm talking about.
California, the Amp Mobile Supercross Series back for Anaheim 2 here at Angel Stadium. And one of the stars of the series that the folks are watching tonight, the 20-year-old out of Haines City, Florida, James Stewart. He won the first 3 rounds of the year, lost last week in Phoenix, but he's off to a good start with a heat race win here tonight. For a closer look tonight, presented by Amped Mobile.
No, winning's not everything. I think my image is more important than me winning, like, because I want kids to really understand, like, where I'm coming from and how, like, it took me a while to get up and all the hard times I went through and all the good times I went through. It's an awesome feeling, you know, when they say James Stewart, you hear people cheering for you, you see banners and the lights come on, and then it's a show. Most people crack under pressure on that. I love it. I think I really feed off that. I love racing for the crowd. It's the best thing. The louder they get, the more stuff I jump. And I don't need my 125 days where I win by a minute or, you know, 30 seconds in the Supercross. I just want to win by 1. Even if I didn't, you know, win, at least I could be somewhere in the picture where, man, that kid was flying. I don't know where I get my desire from. Probably my dad and probably just watching other people kind of throw their life away when I was younger and stuff. I just don't want to ever be like that. You know, I want to keep building myself up to this person where, you know, when I finish racing, you know, I'm known everywhere. I want to make sure nobody can forget me because I just want to break everything to all the records.
James Stewart certainly making statements this year, and Denny, I think a big part of that is just the mental changes we've seen in James and how he's approaching his racing.
He realizes this is a 16-race season. He knows he can't win the season or win the championship one race, but he can definitely lose it. And he's rode really smart, as we saw last week in Phoenix. He went down, came through the pack. Once he got into 30, he just settled in.
Well, let's show you the final few riders that have won some races here tonight, beginning with semi number 1, David Velleman, taking the win on his number 12. He moved up to the 450 this week, and it paid off. And semi number 2, Michael Brown, takes a checkered flag, and he's going on to tonight's main event. And then the final shot came in the last chance qualifier, and Jeff Gibson won that on the next to last lap, taking the move. Jeff Dement, and moved himself into tonight's main event. So here is the starting lineup for tonight's main event here at Anaheim. All the riders that will fill out our 20-rider, 20-lap main event. We'll see James Stewart and Ricky Carmichael. Jeremy McGrath is coming in. This all brought to you by Yamaha. A stellar field as we get set for what should be a thrilling race here tonight. Before we drop the gate on the main, let's check in one more time with Chris Devoto with a Progressive pre-race report.
Well, we know this is a big race for Supercross, but it's also a big weekend for another sport, football, with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. I asked Michael Byrne who he's rooting for in the Super Bowl to go. He said, are the Chargers still in it? Now, we do have to give him a break. He is from Australia. They play a whole different kind of football there. But his mechanic, Mike Williamson, is keeping an eye on the games. His wife is from the Pittsburgh area. She, of course, a Steelers fan. Mike says he roots for whoever is playing the Steelers, just to give her a hard time. And me being a Steelers fan, I had to give him a hard time about that.
I figured she'd get that in there. One more shot, being a Steelers fan. Of course, that AFC Championship game coming up a little later on here on CBS. But first, the main event from here in Anaheim. 20 riders, 20 laps. It should be a great one, and it's all coming your way right here on CBS Sports. Time for the Mobile Supercross Series from Anaheim. The riders are on the track getting ready to line up the gate. Welcome back, everybody. Ralph Shaheen and Denny Stevenson with you. And one of the big stories here this weekend has been the racetrack. As you saw after heat race number 1, James Stewart thought maybe the track was too easy. But Ricky Carmichael and the rest of the field came out and showed that they've got the same speed to match James. Will that be the story, do you think?
It's going to be the story's going to be the start. It's always important to get a good start. Tonight's going to be amplified probably about 10 times. With these guys running similar lap times, and the track maybe not as difficult, you're going to have a really tough time trying to make up any time during the race. It's all going to come down to the start.
Well, let's show you our starting lineup for tonight's 20-rider, 20-lap main event here at Anaheim, brought to you by Honda. Of course, Jeremy McGrath on the big 450 this weekend. He was very fast in his heat race. He's into the main event. Michael Brown, Ricky Carmichael, Michael Rocco showed very good speed in his heat race, as did Ernesto Fonseca. David Villeman brings out a 450 this weekend, and rider on the number 12 is there, the former champ, Chad Reed, in this main event as well, and it should be an outstanding one here tonight. 20 laps, 20 riders, 25 points at stake here in the AMA points. 7 times Jeremy McGrath has been crowned Supercross champion, and he's going to give you this view. The American Honda Motor Company cam strapped to his helmet as you look down off the starting gate. Ricky Carmichael, 4-time champion. And there's James Stewart, anxious to put one of those championships on his mantle. Here we go from Anaheim. Tedesco out of the middle. Maybe. No, he's not going to get it done. It's Villeman. David Villeman. His first week on a 450, and he puts the bigger bike on top. But look at Jeremy McGrath. Right up to third.
How about that, Ralph? 2 Honda riders that went from the 252 stroke to that 450, more powerful 4-stroke. Out front, running second and third. Shows that, man, they made a great decision here for week 3.
And Ivan Tedesco has taken over the lead on the number 9 factory Suzuki. I'll tell you what, if Jeremy McGrath can hold on to get a podium position here this weekend, this place will go crazy. There's James Stewart behind Ernesto Fonseca in 5th. The Kawasaki rider to the inside, takes over position. He's up to 4th. And Carmichael coming up the inside. He's now up to 4th as he gets by Fonseca.
Carmichael needs to set his sights on Stewart quickly. He needs to get by him. He cannot let Stewart get through these riders and then try and chase him down. He needs to take advantage of the riders that may be holding up Stewart and make something happen. Surprise him. Attack him when he's least expecting it.
McGrath is now the next one to deal with Stewart. Stewart to the inside. But look at McGrath flying to the sky to fight right back.
Look at the Former 7-time Supercross champion Jeremy McGrath putting it battling bar to bar with James Stewart. You see Stewart there in the helmet cam, makes the pass on both McGrath and Bowman in one section. And now two riders separate Stewart from Carmichael.
And Carmichael tries to do the same to come right back. Oh, Tedesco bobbles big time. And that really allows Stewart to gain a lot of ground on Ivan Tedesco.
No, obviously Ivan Tedesco's going to stay out front. That's his goal. But he's also Ricky Carmichael's teammate. He needs to do everything he can to try and hold Stewart back, let Carmichael make up some of his ground. But look at how low Stewart is staying over that triple jump right there, Ralph. He's just soaking it up, getting back on the ground, getting the wheels and getting the power driving.
The big air looks really thrilling and very exciting to the fans and the crowd, but Denny, that's not the quickest way. You need to get the wheels back on the ground, driving forward.
Yeah, the quicker you can get back down on the ground, getting this four-stroke power going, the faster you're going to make things happen.
There it is.
Oh, Stewart got the inside of Tedesco, takes over the lead. Tedesco trying to come up the inside of him.
And here comes Carmichael. Carmichael on the number 4 Suzuki, charging up through. He's up to third, and he's closed in on this battle for the lead.
On the other hand, Chad Reed buried back in 5th spot. Oh, he's going to have a hard time making up ground on these guys.
There's Reed. He's caught up to Jeremy McGrath, fighting for 4th.
He's already 8.5 seconds back on Stewart. He's got a lot of time to make up as he buries through this pack, tries to get by Jeremy McGrath right now, and I guarantee McGrath, last week McGrath was pretty nice as the front runners kind of moved a little wide, let him go on through. But tonight we're in Jeremy's house. He's going to put up a little bit more of a fight.
8 championships between the two as they fight for position. And you saw Reed fly right by you as Jeremy McGrath drops back one more spot to 5th. Look at the battle now. Here comes Carmichael. All over his team. Well, I'll tell you what, Tedesco's not moving out of the way, is he?
No, definitely not. Tedesco is here for the long haul. He has not moved over in 1 ounce for Ricky Carmichael, and that's only allowed Stewart to break away.
Tedesco, a former champion in his own right in the Supercross Light Series.
Yep, 2-time Light champion. He's made a very successful move up to the bigger Supercross class.
There's a move from the teammate. And a very clean pass by Ricky Carmichael.
Carmichael now has 1.9 seconds to make up on Stewart.
Just how fast can Ricky Carmichael go? I'll tell you what, Denny, Stewart's been out front all by himself for a couple of laps now, and he hasn't opened up a huge gap. Carmichael's still very much within closing distance of James Stewart if he can put in a couple of really quick laps here.
Yeah, the fastest time so far for James Stewart is a 45.2. Carmichael is thrown down to 45.4. So the lap times are very comparable, but when you're only talking tenths of a second, it makes it awfully difficult to make up almost 2 seconds.
Earlier in the night, we saw both of them a good second quicker than that at 44. What's the difference now? Just dealing with the traffic?
The track is getting a little slippery, a little moisture starting to come up out of the ground as the cool air is starting to hit it. The corners are starting to get a lot more slippery, and the whoop-de-doos are starting to get gnawed out a little bit. They're getting rutted up, a lot more edges. That'll slow them down as well.
When the day began and the riders got practicing earlier today, it was near 80 degrees, a gorgeous day here in Anaheim, California. Tonight, chilly. Everybody in the grandstands wearing jackets, probably down to about 50. Here comes Carmichael, trying to catch Stewart. And Stewart's not breaking away, Denny.
No, not at all. He is definitely keeping, Carmichael is keeping Stewart close. But one thing I think at this pace is Stewart is very comfortable running this pace. Carmichael, on the other hand, I think he has to let it hang out a little bit more to run Stewart's pace, which sometimes can put you on the ground, as we've seen at the Anaheim opener when Ricky went down. But right now, he's settling into second place, and he's only lost a little bit of time that last lap.
Jeremy Albrecht, chief mechanic for James Stewart, giving his rider encouragement. Oh, look at Stewart banging his way across the tough blocks. Let's go back to the whole shot earlier tonight. This is your Toyota whole shot, and watch the first corner.
Center screen, Bulleman on that Buku Smith Optics Honda grabs the whole shot, while Ivan Tedesco, on the other hand, he's going to drop to the inside. These two are going to run side by side through the moguls, with Bulleman just getting the edge.
And look at Carmichael was way to the inside, which he did in his heat race. It worked great there, but not so good in the main. Meanwhile, Stewart back out front. A little bit of a bobble as has allowed Carmichael to close up a little bit. This taking place while we were watching the highlight of the start, and look at the balance, though, as he catches it. Even when things go terribly wrong for James Stewart, he has miraculous natural skills that pull him back out of the trouble.
Well, when you guys are running this kind of pace, your mistakes are amplified 10 times. But one thing why these guys are able to go this pace is because they're ahead of the motorcycle by about 5 clicks. They know what the bike's going to do it. I don't know if he quite expected something like that, but he's so quick. He pulled up and pulled out of that thing and avoided a big crash.
Look at Carmichael. He's right there with him. And Denny, the lap times have dropped. Both the riders, the top two riders, Stewart and Carmichael, down to the 44-second range now.
And this lead is less than a second. As you can see, Carmichael, when he starts seeing a little bit of a weakness, he saw Stewart make a mistake. He figures, man, if I keep this pressure on, maybe I can press him into making a huge mistake, maybe even crashing. And we're getting to lap traffic, Ralph. This is going to be big right here.
This is what everybody has waited for all season, to see Ricky Carmichael and James Stewart really go at it on even playing field. Early on in the year, with the first 2 rounds up in Canada, Stewart just seemed to have the speed. Ricky Carmichael, week after week, has picked the pace up, and he is right on Stewart.
Carmichael smells blood.
Is on here in Anaheim.
Stewart is just sliding all over this slippery track right now. The moisture has just made this track so slippery as they pull side by side. Stewart had Carmichael on the ropes after those first 3 rounds, Ralph. By Carmichael getting that win last week in Phoenix, he came off the ropes, and right now he smells blood, and he is charging back on Stewart.
Jeremy Albrecht, the crew chief mechanic for James Stewart, telling him, focus on your own riding. Don't worry about who's behind you or who's in front of you. Focus on your line. It's easy to get distracted when you know your #1 nemesis is right on your tail.
Yeah, as soon as he starts making mistakes, you can see him when they come out of the corner. He can hear Carmichael's motorcycle behind him. You can see that yellow front fender, and all he sees in front of Stewart, all he sees are lap traffic, lap riders. He's panicking right now, trying to make something happen, and Carmichael, on the other hand, is just closing the gap.
Not only that, but they can hear this huge Anaheim crowd cheering in the background, and Stewart knows the only reason why they can be cheering that loudly is because I've got company.
Definitely. That's one thing you can hear. When the crowd is screaming, something big's happening around you.
50,000 people packed into the stands here in Anaheim.
Putting Tyler Evans and Ryan Clark down the lap. This is where the race could be made or lost, is trying to get through these lap traffic when you're going so much faster than these other guys. This could be dangerous.
Just past the halfway point here in Anaheim, and Stewart and Carmichael putting on a show. Stay with us. Continues to get even more intense here at the main event with the Mobile Supercross Series in Anaheim. James Stewart on the Kawasaki, the factory entry #7, being chased by the factory entry from Suzuki, the #4 of Ricky Carmichael. Lap after lap, these two matching each other's pace, hanging in the 44-second range. Oh, Stewart with a huge bobble, and Carmichael can't capitalize. Here he comes.
Look at Carmichael
He tries to get him through the whoops. He can't get it done.
We said at the opening of the show, Ralph, that maybe the momentum had shifted. Just with one win under his belt, Carmichael, it looks like the momentum is definitely in his corner as he goes for Stewart.
Here he comes up the inside, jumping into this very tricky corner. Hard to get on the brakes as you come flying into that turn. And the chief mechanics cheering on their warriors. Over the triple jump they go. Oh, what a great race.
You can see the different lines these riders are taking, Rob. You see Stewart hunting for the soft stuff outside, trying to get away from the slippery stuff, while Carmichael is coasting or taking this inside line where it's a little bit more slippery and making up a little bit more ground.
Here's where Bubba bobbled the last time. James Bubba Stewart through that loop section. He gets through there cleanly this time, as does Carmichael. And another lap is completed, and the 20 laps clicking off. Down to 6 to go. Carmichael pretty good through this section, and he always takes a pretty good run on him headed into that corner right there.
This reminds me of the opening of the World Supercross GP Series in Toronto. Right now, Carmichael's closed the door on Stewart. Stewart's the guy making mistakes. Carmichael seems to want to bide this time patiently behind him.
You see Carmichael reach up over that big triple jump, 50 feet in the air, and ripping a tear-off off, cleaning his visor. And that's about the only time around this track where you can actually relax. A lot of the top riders will tell you, actually talk to themselves and focus a little bit, catch their breath when they're mid-flight like that. When the rest of us would be hanging on for dear life, they're actually the most relaxed. Carmichael through middle section. Here he comes again. Really carries good speed into this tight right-hander. Danny, that's so tricky. It seems simple, but you're flying in there hard to get the brakes to bring the bike to a stop, turn it to the right, and drive back.
Just like this section there, it's really soft. They come off the triple jump. You see Stewart going wide, searching, looking for the berm. Carmichael, on the other hand, he's dropping the inside.
Denny, 5 to go. Do you think Carmichael has already picked out a strategy, knowing I've got 5 to go, I'm going to stay right here, match his pace, and I think I know where I can get him and take a last lap dive at him?
There's definitely, if it's going to be a pass, it's going to have to be an aggressive one. They said the track was a little easier tonight. That means there's not going to be as many places for a rider to make a mistake, although we've seen these guys making some mistakes tonight. I think if it's going to happen, it's going to be happening, and I think right there in that section, I think Carmichael's going to drop the inside of that mogul section and put on an aggressive block pass on Stewart, but I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Taking these laps to maybe set that pass up. Let Stewart think you're going somewhere else and then come back when he least expects it. Because I'll tell you what, Carmichael is right there with Stewart. And you know James is showing you all the speed he's got.
Yeah, this is it. This is everything these guys got. There's only a few laps left. These already starting to hold them back any longer.
James Stewart stayed in the West after the last week in Phoenix. Came out to Southern California early and went testing at the Kawasaki factory test track in Corona, California. Carmichael went back to Florida. Both of these riders call Florida home. RC went home, James stayed here.
Now they're approaching this section again. They're going to go over this triple, into the big triple. Laps before, Stewart was going wide, searching out the berm. He's dropped that inside line now. He's found himself a groove. I think that was the spot where Carmichael was making up ground. Stewart figured it out.
It's kind of interesting. Carmichael stayed out on the West Coast after the first Anaheim race. Tested at the Suzuki test track and ended up winning in Phoenix. Then he goes home, and now Stewart stays out here, tested at the Kawasaki factory test track, and maybe he'll pick up the win tonight.
We talked to Carmichael. He said he charters his own jet. He was on a plane at midnight leaving Phoenix. He was home on Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning at 6. Being home, being able to train and test at your own facility, your own tracks.
Oh, down goes Stewart. There was a rider down in the corner. It was Michael Brown. There were yellow flags warning him of that. Stewart goes down. He's lost the lead. Will he lose more than that? Here comes Reed.
He was trying to do everything he could right there, James Stewart was, to keep his motorcycle running. He had his hand kind of wrapped around the handlebar with the clutch in, trying to keep the bike running because he knew he's going to have to restart. If he didn't, makes a mistake, Reed moves into second.
He has lost the lead. He has lost second place. James Stewart all the way back to third. Watch, you'll see Michael Brown down at the top of the screen right here.
And his front end will wash right here. Do you see the shiny part? His front end's going to wash right there. He goes down, the front end tucks, and just like that, James Stewart loses the lead in this race, and he loses his points lead.
Now he's up and riding. Now, James Stewart has just a couple of laps left to go. Can he catch Reed? Will he try to? Carmichael knows he's got the lead and a win maybe in the back. Denny, oh, look at the knack-knack from Carmichael. Both legs off the bike. Final lap. Carmichael can take the win and make, boy, what a big story this is going to be coming out of Anaheim if Carmichael picks up 2 wins in a row. Final trip through the whoops.
It's the Anaheim opener that's always been Carmichael, but he always won here in Anaheim too, and he picks up yet another.
Carmichael takes the big win. Chad Reed, who was stuck back in third, is going to end up second. And James Stewart, what a frustration. You can see him looking skyward. What happened?
Carmichael will lead with the points lead. Reed will lead in second, and Stewart will drop back to third after that crash tonight.
Well, everybody has expected this season to be one full of twisted turns. And RC knows that he had a battle on his hands, and that win didn't come easy. Stewart stopping to remind him, I'll see you again next week, and we'll do this again. And Ricky Carmichael celebrates in front of the crowd here in Anaheim. We'll talk to him when we come back to Anaheim on CBS. Resulted in Suzuki at the top of that board with Ricky Carmichael taking his second win in a row to go along with the win just a week ago in Phoenix. And Chad Reed, second 2 weeks in a row here on the West Coast. And James Stewart, unfortunately for him, third 2 weeks in a row. Krista?
Yeah, I think the look on his face pretty much says it all. I know disappointment, frustration. Let's go ahead and have you sum it up. What happened out there?
You know, just a bad race. You know, I felt okay, but I'm just struggling through the whoops, you know, tonight. And like I said, you know, there's nothing technical on the track, you know, to pull away from anything or do anything technical. But, you know, RC, he rode a great race. You know, he was on my butt the whole time. And Lapper went down, and I kind of looked up to see where he was, and front end washed out, and that was the end of the story. So just come back next week, you know, I feel good. You know, I was starting to feel better towards the end of the race, but, you know, third place, that's what I ended up tonight.
And that's why this series is so incredible to watch. You never know what can happen. The drama continues next week, guys.
Krista, it just took one split second where James Stewart's attention was taken away when he looked to see Michael Brown, and you can see what it's done to him in the point standings. As we take a look at our Toyota Amped Mobile AMA Supercross point standings, he drops from the points lead down to third, and Ricky Carmichael now has a 4-point lead over Chad Reed. Just that quick 1/10 of a second changed the point standings dramatically here tonight in Anaheim. Let's head back down to Krista, who's got our second place finisher, Chad Reed.
With our second place finisher, Chad Reed. And Chad, you were able to come up there, but there was a great battle going on there for a while with you and Ivan Tedesco. Talk about that. Did it get a little ugly there?
I wouldn't call it a great battle for fourth place. Man, it's tough. You know, team does such a great job. We have a great bike. You know, I'm riding good. I just want to get out there and battle with those guys. And, man, it's a bummer.
A bummer because obviously we're talking to you each week, but we're talking to you with second and third place finishes. What is it going to take for you to kind of shoot through and get that first win? Because we know it's coming.
Yeah, it's not a matter of this, that, or anything. You know, I have to ride good and put myself in good positions. And that's it. It's hard to put an answer to that. But, you know, all the guys at Yamaha are doing a great job. Thor, Parts, Scott, Bridgestone, everybody. And, you know, it's just exciting to be in this three-way battle. You know, we can all win, and I just want to battle with them and give the fans what they want to watch and what they want to see. So it's a shame.
Chad Reed, second here in Anaheim.
Let's take a look now at our Toyota moving forward moment of the race. And it was right here. James Stewart, a split second loss of focus as he sees the down rider in front of him. He then goes down. Carmichael to the outside. James pounds the dirt in frustration as he sees the lead slip away. Carmichael takes the win and is standing by with Krista.
Something about the taste of winning feels so good. Ricky Carmichael back on the podium, 2 wins in a row, and your second win for the Anaheim 2 race. Talk about your event.
Oh, man, it was a heck of a race. I don't know what to say. I hate to win it that way. James fell down there with about 2 or 3 laps to go, and you know what? I was just riding behind him. I felt really, really, really good, and I was just kind of taking it all in and enjoying the moment. It reminded me a couple of years ago when I was racing Jeremy, and you know, there was lappers all over the place, and we were racing around, and James got his feet came off and was sideways a couple times, like, oh, he's going down, and he saved it. And then, you know, I just felt that, you know, I could have got by him, but I was just waiting to the end. You know, I just didn't want to put a dirty move on him, you know, right there. I figured I'd try to wait to the last lap if I hadn't got by him then. And he made a mistake. Actually, there's a down rider. But, man, what a great race. It was fun, good, clean race, and I had a blast.
And it feels so good, doesn't it?
Oh, man, you have no idea. Even if I wouldn't have won, it was a big feather in my cap for sure. I felt that I had the speed, solid through the hoops, you know, no mistakes, and that's what it takes.
That is what it takes. Back on top, guys. 2 wins in a row for Ricky Carmichael.
Oh, the big key, Chris, is what he said about the speed. He's got the speed to run with James Stewart. As we take a look at our Toyota Amped Mobile World Supercross GP point standings now. Remember, Stewart had this all by himself. Carmichael now has closed within 1, and Chad Reed, you heard him talk about the frustration, but he's still in the thick of this. He's up to third, 9 back. Coming up next on CBS, the NFL Today, followed by the AFC Championship game, Pittsburgh at Denver. CBS Sports coverage of Amped Mobile Supercross continues next Sunday in San Francisco. It was a great night of racing here in Anaheim. For Denny Stevenson and Chris Devoda, I'm Ralph Shaheen saying so long from Anaheim, where Ricky Carmichael is your winner.